Tyler, for movers stepping in for the first time, what are 3 habits they install before day one?
What are 3 things that they really need to put in place?
First off, I mean, you're in the world of going into someone's worst nightmare right off the bat, right? So
welcome back to Movified Wednesdays. I'm your host, Mark Hirschi, owner of Salmon's Moving and Storage and Ellis Moving and Storage, also located in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. We love beautiful situations on Wednesdays because we are also shooting over to my co-host, Stephen Reed with
ReadyRolls.com.
Thank you. And Big League Movers out in Memphis, Tennessee, and On Deck Deliveries. We want to make sure we hit them all in there. What's going on, Mr. Reed?
Man, it's been a great week. I had a great birthday last week, and we got a great guest who's on a birthday week as well.
Can you just quickly share with the audience about the tag playbook? I mean, we've been talking about it. I love talking about it, but you got a special gift from a realtor.
I did. My buddy Jeff Howard, Tyler knows him here. He owns Bluff City.
Shout out.
He sent me a cool rug. From Big League Movers, and he sent me a letter I got on my desk right here, not even planning to talk about, but it says, "You have inspired me since the day we met. Your love for your family and your city sets you apart in my mind. Happy birthday to a real one." And he got me a custom picture, Mark, you'll throw up on the podcast, but a custom rug of Big League Movers. So my heart's touched. Nothing's gonna make me have a bad day today on this stuff.
I love it. Well, we are back.
Hey, Jeff, somebody simply I played tag. Like instead of just asking him for business, right? My goals was to understand what Jeff's goals were and how I could help him, and that's how our relationship starts. So him to reference since the day we met, is pretty cool for me, and that's essentially to me it's playing tag as we talk about on here.
Which I love, and we're going to play tag right over to our guest, Tyler Pattat. Tyler from Cornerstone, Service Master, Cornerstone, also out in Tennessee. What's up, Tyler? How you doing, buddy?
Thanks for having me again. Excited about episode 2.
This is the part 2, man. You know, I loved it because previously on one of our Movified Wednesday episodes, we had Tyler on who really kind of shared how a mover and a prayer became franchise of the year. But, today, and like I said to you guys in the last episode, I really want to hit it home in this part 2 with how to have that playbook for movers on, hey, I want to start getting and work and building out my divisions, and one being into the restoration world. How does that look like? What do I got to do? And make sure that I'm ensuring it in the right way. Not just willy-nilly, just, hey, cool, it's just like a regular move. It's not.
And for the listeners who didn't listen to our last episode, go back and listen to it. Tyler has created a powerhouse at Service Master, has mastered moving, has consulted me to work in restoration, which has been a huge impact in my company. Saved my ass. Different story, different episode. Just working with him to learn how to work with restoration companies. And Tyler is offering his services as a consultant to the moving industry to work with restoration companies and give his insight on there. So check out the last episode. I know I say that a lot, but it's a whammy. It is a really, really good episode.
And like we do with our guys when we dispatch them in the morning, we want to make sure they're doing their pre-trip. Today's pre-trip, everybody, is brought to you by ReadyRolls.com. Virtual staffing that installs into your ops. This is how you get things done, everybody. If you're adding restoration work, your bottleneck isn't muscle, it's admin. COIs, photo logs, inventory labels, billing packets, proposals. Ready Rolls builds that back end so your crews can move. Virtual assistants starting at $7.
Right, there's a little bit of extra admin work.
It's $7 an hour USD. That's $50 an hour Canadian.
$9.50 in Canada, depending on the day.
That's right. But you know what? I really kind of want to bring it in. Like, let's kind of get this thing working right off. Tyler, for movers stepping in for the first time, all right, what are 3 habits they install before day one?
Yeah, what makes this industry from their typical residential world that you knew I was in? What are 3 things that they really need to put in place?
Yeah, first off, I mean, you're in the world of going into someone's worst nightmare right off the bat, right? So you've got to have empathy. You've got to be able to step in, look them in the eye, tell them what you're going to do, and then you've got to be able to do it. You guys see furniture every day. We see contents every day. You'll hear me talk about contents. That's the lingo in our world. Still the same with you guys, but let's focus on that. The contents that we see, it may be something that we see every job, every single thing, but there's contents in that home that is very specific and has sentimental value that we have no idea about, right? We just met them, they're in a bad thing. So being empathetic and understanding what this person's going through, how you can help, man, that one, the very first day really sets the tone on what happens for the next 6, 7, 8 months of this job. And I would say number two, control everything that you can. Be focused on being intentional with your actions, your words, and showing like, hey, if I say that we're going to get this room done or this room done, do it a certain way. Do it. That's what you can control. Don't over deliver on some or don't over promise something that you can't deliver on. And I think that there's a lot in that you can continue to maneuver through. And then again, our motto, kind of behind the scenes motto, show up and show out. Like have a good attitude. I know there's a lot of times where movers, they're there to get a job done, and it is what it is. But I mean, we've got to have a little bit of fun in it. We've got to make sure that we can have a smile on our face even in a bad time. It's going to set the tone for everything that happens next. I mean, we know that something is going to break. We know that there's going to be a nick or a ding on something. But when they see you day one making an effort to get their family back into uh, a pre-loss condition, even when they don't know how it's going to happen, when they see you putting in really good effort, they have a harder time coming at you and getting wonky on the backside of the claim. So those are the three things I'd say right off the bat.
Before we ever started using a moving CRM, someone asked me, could you 10x what you're doing right now with the current systems and processes you have in place? And I said no. And so he was like, well, then you need to just pull the trigger on the software. And then I saw Smart Moving and it was game over.
Austin joined thousands of moving owners on Smart Moving in 2021. Since then, he's more than doubled his business.
And I always compare Smart Moving to Apple products. It's just so simple, so easy to use, and that's really what's allowed my team to scale and now have 2 branches. And last year we scaled Central Coast Moving over 50% growth.
If you're ready to turn your moving company into a machine that drives profit, not chaos, try Smart Moving.
I was gonna say, like, so to control everything you can. Tyler and I have a funny inside joke because of what I've told my movers before when the toilets aren't working, right? But these jobs are a little different, right? Sometimes the electricity is not going to be working in the home, so get all the information you can before you go to the job, and most importantly, give the guys a download, right? Because it's all negative once they get to a home and they don't know those certain things. Uh,
It's also if there's a big water damage and we're doing a pack out of a house and the water's not turned on, you probably don't want guys going in there using the restroom, right? So
there's the joke, right? I had told my guys to line up the trash with a garbage bag one time, and Tyler got a really good kick. His team got a kick out of it. But how we did that before is we would line the toilet with a Kroger bag. It's a grocery store here, and we would use the restroom in there, and then we'd carry a bucket of water and flush what we needed to flush. And Tyler helped me with that process afterwards.
There's an SOP on that one. Yeah, for sure.
Now on that process, but
yeah, we're doing a water damage, not a trauma cleanup, okay?
but control everything you can, and it's knowing that this is different. So get all the details you can, whether you're working the job with an insurance company, a client, or you're working with Service Master and their estimator, right, who's running the job, right? But get all the information you can. I like to show up on the job. I think sometimes it annoys Tyler because it's like, hey, it's a small job. But I like to show up on the job just for that, just to see all these things that we can warn our guys about so they don't get a negative attitude about the job that they're not used to. They're used to doing residential. This is a little bit different. Once the guys are prepared for it, they love the restoration jobs, but you have to prepare them for it.
So let's kind of give everybody the back end framework. There was a time where I had a company called Action Movers, and Action Movers started working with a couple restoration companies.
Action.
My wife always used to give me heck because I used to have like that, the Bluetooth earphone piece. What used to be like long back in the day, and I'd always be like, Action Movers, right? So, but what I want to kind of discuss is the fact that I want to search out, started getting into restoration, and the way it really worked was we didn't just go directly to a service master out there, because a service master that's in your area already has preferred vendors on the list, right? They already have guys that they're supposed to be working with because they aren't the insurance company. It's the actual large insurance companies that are going to the restoration company. From the restoration company, they are delegating the different types of contractors that they need to get the work done. So we ended up working with the claims adjusters, right? So the project managers that were being assigned, saying, okay, you're in charge of this job, and now we're working with companies like ServiceMaster to go get the job done. What we found was as I grew and started my own contents company, was there's certain things that have to be done much differently than we think. Hey, great, here's my work order. I go out to do the job site. A lot of times you're not doing a walkthrough prior, right? You don't get the opportunity to go, okay, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, we're going to come out this Thursday to do a walkthrough, and you do your inventory, you're taking your photos or anything else. You're getting a phone call saying there's been a flood. We need a truck and like 4 guys at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning to start doing the packing, and away you go. And you're only being given as much information as the claims adjuster or that restoration company that's phoning you is providing you. And restoration runs on speed, right? Documentation is so huge. It's so huge. It's more critical to take the time in documenting everything that you see, because I'm going to give you another terminology that me and Tyler know about, and that's NR items, right? That's non-restorable items, and especially on a fire, especially on a flood, there's already mold, there's already mildew, there's burnt items that you just can't use anymore. And a lot of the times you want to find out where those items are being moved to, because a lot of times it's not coming back to your warehouse. Now, if you can add that service, that's even better. But you want to make sure things are documented, inventoried, photos are taken. You have to treat it like if this home is going back again in 6 to 8 months after new floors have been installed, the walls have been painted, the trim has been done, lighting has been fixed, the customer's expecting you to put that furniture back exactly in the same spot again. And if you're not sending that same crew, you better damn well have the proper documentation and photos in place. So you want to have control of the scope. You want to know the chain of custody. So you want to understand who you are dealing with, so that you're not walking in there going, I'm going to deal with this person. No. There's a project manager that's been assigned to handle the account. Room by area photos, right? Like I talked about, labeling inventory. If you don't do inventory right now because you're like, well, I'm just kind of getting into storage and I bring it into a self-storage place, I don't really have the warehouse, you're already out of the game. Like, I'm going to tell you guys right now, don't even bother getting to restoration. You need to have a warehouse. Because if you don't understand how to inventory and document the items, this isn't you going through the tallies and going 11, 17, 9, the chip marks and scratch. This is making sure that you are noticing and identifying anything that's been damaged. And then the signatures. I
want to add one thing right there, Mark, too.
Yeah.
Another major thing that's different than residential, right, is the insurance usually has to approve it. So when you're working with a service master, right, and there's a scope of work change and that customer's asking something different than that estimator, you have to speak to that estimator because they know what they can get approved or not on the job. right? So getting those
Oh, yeah.
approvals and changes in writing is key.
How many times have you been on job sites where the guys are saying, hey, this customer wants us to move this couch and this bed, or a couple items off site to, another family member's place. And, do you mind? Or, hey, we're going to order some furniture and can we just have it come to your warehouse because the insurance has approved it and you didn't go through the right steps. Your guys are like, oh, sure, yeah, we can handle this, but nothing was approved.
And then the house is not ready for another, 4 or 5 months, and then who's going to pay for the storage on the items that were delivered, right? It's very important. The hardest thing is that the customer is not really in the business of understanding the claims process, and it's really good. I mean, even in the moving industry, if you don't have a relationship with a restoration company, even if you're trying to go after the adjusters, you need to ask the adjusters, like, who do you work with that shows up on these restoration jobs? And you need to go create that relationship with them, because even if they're not sending you business, you need to have some type of information on how to work and walk through these claims. You can't go out there talking to the customer about how the claim is going to be handled. Every policy is different. We tell people all the time, I can't dictate the policy. Your agent and broker, y'all did that 2 or 3 years ago. Have you reviewed it? Do you have enough contents insurance? I mean, how many times, Steve, we go out, we thought we had a great pack out on a fire job, and come to find out they didn't have enough contents coverage. We had to walk away from the whole job because it didn't make any sense at all to even do the job. The adjuster just stroked them $100,000 check, and they had to figure it out on their own. And at that point, we may, provide labor to get non-salvage items or non-restorable items out of the home, but you can't just go in there charging, regular insurance rates on some of this stuff. It doesn't make sense. And, sometimes I take it on the chin and I don't make any money on it, but it was the right thing to do for the customer. What happens the next time that agent calls us? There's a little bit of a longevity part in this game, and understanding the whole claims process is the biggest key. And so if you're not partnered with somebody or you don't have the ability to call and ask questions, you really got to start there, because if you're not doing that, you can get into the game and mess up big time. Well, they told me I had coverage for this. Adjusters, like, they're a moving company, they're a restoration company. They don't know jack squat about your coverage.
If you're considering Snowball, just do it.
Snowball creates done-for-you referral programs for moving companies so you can turn happy customers into new revenue without lifting a finger. And the results speak for themselves.
In less than a year, we've collected over 2,000 referrals.
We generated over $200,000 of revenue that cost about $5,000 to do it.
I believe we had 4 or 5 the very first day.
The companies winning with Snowball are the ones that already care about their customers. We just help turn that into new business through human outreach and customer nurturing.
Snowball is part of the arsenal of tools that I recommend to my clients because it works.
Being found on the second page of Google is literally like having a billboard in the middle of the desert. Your mama ain't gonna see it. No one's gonna see it. You're on the second page of Google, no one's gonna call, no one's gonna book. Here is the deal. If your business is not ranking on the top of Google, that means your competitors are going to be stealing your customers every single day. So at Rotate Digital, we don't play any guessing games. We use data-driven SEO strategies to make sure Google finds you first, so that these Google searches turn into your customers, not your competitors' customers. How do we do it? We do it through AI-driven keyword optimization, exclusive blog networks, backlinking strategies, and honestly, the secret stuff, the proprietary lead attribution software. So what do you get as a result? You get not only good marketing, but now you get clarity into what is bringing you more revenue. So if that's something you want to do, you want to make sure your leads find you and not your competition, go ahead and go to rotatedigital.com, schedule a call, and we'll help you take your business to the top of Google.
That's why I think it's so crucial and so awesome to have you on here, because in moving, we haven't really had a resource like that where somebody can hire somebody and say, hey, I have those questions. There's so many people that when a hurricane hits Florida, they're trying to text me all these questions because they know I have experience with it. And Tyler, I mean, if our moving industry can reach out to you and hire you for as a consultant here and there. I think it's a great thing to have that resource that somebody already understands claims, can set you up with the service masters in their city. He's not going to promise they're going to use them, but guys, if they listen to Tyler, and if you are somebody interested, that's what they're looking for.
I don't know
moving
about
partners.
that.
But they're looking for moving partners that really the thing that Tyler knows they want to hear when he calls them is they're interested in learning our process, learning about the industry, and not making this just another residential thing that they get problems with. And that's the value of what Tyler's bringing here.
All right. So what I want to kind of hit on, Tyler, is we just kind of gave everybody like a fully loaded, answer, and like, boom, we just dropped this mic. Let's rewind the tape. I have the warehouse. I have the crews. We've done inventory items. We understand it. I have some really stand-up guys. I want to open up the division. How am I going about trying to get these type of contracts? Who should I be reaching out in my local area to build that relationship with?
Well, I mean, in our case, we were adding service lines inside the contents portion of our business. And so as we were growing our contents portion, we were able to grow the moving portion of it and the storage portion of it because we were getting more jobs being a full service contractor. And when I say full service, we're talking about packing, the whole process, packing, moving, storage, cleaning, storage, pack back, move back, job's done, right? It's that simple, but all those steps require a certain piece.
Yeah, but you're not sitting there waiting for the phone to ring so a service master's calling you or some restoration company is going, "Oh yeah, so I Googled you." I mean, that's fantastic that you should get the ball rolling.
For me, I was willing to discuss this service with the companies that would always be willing to be flexible and understand what my need was, right? So, I said in episode 1, I'd been through multiple moving companies. I mean, I had a moving company one time that very blatantly threw out about $36,000 worth of appliances that were not supposed to be thrown out. And when I had to explain that to the adjuster was like, "Well, I'm not paying for replacement. I'm only paying to have them clean. So if they're not there, you have to replace it." So guess who had to end up footing the bill? Me, because the moving company was nowhere to be found when I needed them to deliver for the customer. Now, what was the communication like in that? Whose fault was that? That's me and Steve's internal process that has to get better. The communication between businesses has to be better. But if we're not willing to be flexible and go in and have those heart-to-heart conversations, then what good is the partnership, right?
But rewind it even more. Because you might have taken the task and said, okay, I'm going to reach out. I find big league movers. I reach out and end up talking to Stephen Reed and says, hey, listen, we've checked out your website. We like your services. We want to try you out on this upcoming job that's happening. Can you get a crew together, make this happen? Great. The relationship slowly gets started. But what about the reverse, though?
So Tyler's getting cupcakes from people every September. Every time peak season's done, moving companies are coming to him, just stopping by with melted ass cupcakes. What Tyler really needed and what I felt is I showed up in the door without cupcakes, although he did remind me I should have cupcakes. And I said, how can I understand your business so I can help facilitate this? I know this is unique and I want to learn it with you and learn how to help. And I think
and Mark, at the time we didn't do any moving at all, right? As our business grew, there were things that we started doing our own moving. Like I didn't actually need Steve for that specific job, right? But think about this, like in a CAT event, when we get 400 residential claims and 100 commercial claims, I have to have scalability to serve my local community, right? So if you're a moving company, you need to be in the restoration company's door saying, look, I understand you may work with somebody already. Give me a shot. If they can't book you, I mean, I've never once called Steve for a restoration move and they say, well, we can't do it tomorrow.
If I say no to you, you're got to go to another moving company, right?
Exactly. And so
I have the same philosophy.
Well, but that's the thing. It's like if somebody calls our team tomorrow and says, I need electric car charging stations installed by January 1 to get a grant, well, I know a guy that installs them, so I'm just going to call him and say yes and do it for my client. And you know, Steve's going to go in and do his portion of it, and this vendor's going to go and do their portion of it. And that's where you have to be flexible. I mean, you have to be willing to say yes and just figure it out. And that's how our business grew from $1 million to $30 million. We have literally never said no. I can't think of a time that we literally said no one time.
Hey everyone, Matty Mailers here, the guy who pioneered handwritten letters for the moving industry. Why? Because my competition at my moving company was using the same stock postcards as me, and my mailing company didn't care. So I created a better way. Here's some mind-blowing results in July. Miracle Movers Utah closed $93,000 using our handwritten letter strategy. With our campaigns, you can forget about the guessing games. You get a trackable phone number, daily photo proof, an incredible design team, and I'm also included. All letters stop at me for approval before they ever leave our facility. Right now, Movified listeners get 1,000 golden tickets stuffed in our genuine handwritten letters completely free. Plus, I'm going to throw in bulk realtor data for up to 5 counties. What are you waiting for? Moving Letters AI. Stop competing, start dominating.
And I love that. This is exactly what I was looking for, right? So from the mover side, Stephen walks in, straight edge. How can we help you? And how can I learn what you need to make the service more professional, more complete? How can I make sure that I can build value to your company and your organization? On your side, Tyler, you're going, hey, if you're a moving company, make your plan of attack, come in with that Stephen Reed mentality that it's, hey, I'll make sure this happens. We'll have a truck sitting there ready on idle. So when we're ready for your call every single time. And we have experience in XYZ. We understand it. We want to learn what you need from us to make this job happen. So we understand the lingo, contents, and the list goes on. And what kind of programs. That's also too, we'll kind of get into like the type of programs that are out there that are different from us, right? There's lots of different like types of CRM type of programs that you can use. I know out here we use a lot of restoration companies use a company called Encircle as an app tool for documentation. I know that if you are using software like LiveSwitch or Company Cam, those are fantastic because you can kind of build the project title, take photos and videos and notes, and have it uploaded for a restoration company, which is ideal. But that's the key. That is the key, to go in there and make sure you're readily available.
And he has, man, like we've gotten so deep and ingrained into the relationship that it's become so sticky for the moving company, Steve's company, that they have logins to our software, right? So
at certain points, we had logins to your facility.
Yeah, yep. And talking about having a truck on idle. I mean, we identified that, hey, we don't have any moving going on. Like our contents is down, things are crazy in a hurricane event, but we got nothing going on. So I called Steve up and said, hey, you got that idle truck? And he's like, yeah. Thinking about doing something. I was like, well, let's just do a fundraiser then and load that thing up with full of diapers and waters and do whatever and deliver it all. And then that restoration big league movers truck is now down in our hurricane event delivering stuff. And then we're using that box truck as a way to maneuver equipment around town to different jobs. I mean, when you get so sticky in that relationship and you can trust that, hey, I'm looking out for Steve and Steve's looking out for me. You know, the biggest thing that impressed me when I walked onto a big league mover, and big leagues moved me 3 times, by the way. So personally. So I've seen them come in, roll out the carpet, wrap the things nice and neat. That's great and grand. I don't need to teach a moving company how to move. If I'm doing that, then I don't need this moving company. Y'all do it well, okay? What I need to teach you is that there's another step in the process. Photo documentation, labeling, and communication with empathy. And if all those things in tandem work, then there's no reason why the moving companies restoration invoicing goes up significantly. And if you're making me look like a hero, then guess what's going to come then? More jobs for the restoration company, more cleaning, more storage. And then in this CAT event, we identified a need of like, hey, we've got all these jobs where we have to do cleaning because insulation fell on the thing, or we get a fire in the middle of a CAT event in the freeze. Well, I'm going to clean those items, so those items need to come to the Cornerstone warehouse. But what about all the water pack outs where it's unaffected contents, but we have to remove the entire house because all the flooring has to be replaced? Do we need to put that in Cornerstone's warehouse? I'm overloaded. I don't have any more warehouse space. So guess who gets that storage? Steve. And then I get the contract, the construction work. I'm doing all the rebuild, and we're communicating with him. Hey, it looks like you're going to build this for another 2 months, or you're going to build this storage for 1 extra month. You'd already had in there 3, which is going to be a total of 4. You're going to move back on this date. It's a total coordination across multiple service divisions, and it all started because he was willing to identify a need in my business that we had.
That's good. That's a good segue into what movers don't realize in the storage function.
Totally.
Restoration.
100%. Do you want to start it off?
Yeah, I mean, well, I'll kind of segue into Tyler because Tyler taught me how we bill in the residential moving industry for our vaults. We're a vault storage place, and Tyler does it a couple different ways. But how we bill, he said, Steve, you can make a lot more money in this, on what we do. And so, Tyler, if I could just get you to kind of go through how you're able to charge insurance companies for storage. What makes you segue a container versus a vault in your warehouse?
Yeah. So if you don't know anything about the restoration industry, our pricing is set based on what the insurance company is willing to pay. So it's all about us and our ability to justify what we did in the service and to be able to charge for it. So for instance, if you go out and you remove a bunch of drywall and you say you spent 15 hours moving a room, then you better have a good enough documentation to show why it took 15 hours to do that room. And so you have to prove to the insurance company, like, this lady has really high-end stuff and she had a lot of it. And so we had to pack out china and this and that, and this is how many boxes it was, and this is why it took so long, right? You don't just go in and have an open checkbook. That's not how it works. So from an insurance perspective, we used to charge the price per square foot and how many boxes and pallets and everything that you had. We had a racking system, and we just charged, we estimated how much you could charge in that one rack, and then you counted how many racks and you put that in the bill. Well, we found out that we could, when we exploded from a 12,000 square foot warehouse to a 25,000 square foot warehouse, we could actually get like 3 to almost 4 times more the contents in there by doing vaults, so instead of having rack systems, right? And so you can charge, the insurance company says, hey, you can charge $125 per vault per month. So then all I needed to know is like, all right, how much is my mortgage? How much is the light bill? How much is the water bill? Let's find out my overhead, and then calculate that and divide it into how many vaults, and then say, hey, team, it doesn't matter if we've got 47 vaults out here, we're breaking even. Well, I don't think there's been a time in the last 10 years that we hadn't had over 100 vaults full that we're billing storage a month. So then how do you scale that? And now you can quickly say, well, I need to go get another warehouse, and I need to be able to scale. And we've done some of that study to figure out, and that's kind of the analytics and the side of it that we have. But Steve comes in and says, hey, this is what I'll bill you in storage. And I'm like, well, you need to bill the insurance rate. The insurance company doesn't get a break just because they're using a residential dude. And he has, it's a very fair game. I mean, it's what insurance says. If he were to come in and say, well, I'm charging $300 a vault and we can only charge $125, I'd be like, hey, Steve, you can't charge more than double. what insurance pays, like, it's never going to work. You'll price yourself out of the market. So again, that goes back to flexibility and willingness to
But
work through the process.
but you could come in at like 140, 130. Like there's a little, like, just so everybody understands, there is sometimes a little bit of wiggle room. If the rate is 120 and you want to try and still make sure that your margins are in check.
Everything pricing wise is based on the zip code that we're in, right? So what I charge in Memphis is completely different than what I charge in Nashville. Nashville has a higher market, right? My rent is higher in Nashville, which is going to drive the rental rate of vaults up. So the vault storage there is significantly higher than it is here in Memphis. I just use that as a number of, like, if yeah, yeah, if Steve's operating in Memphis and I'm operating in Memphis, I can't charge double, right?
Charge for if we're at high occupancy. So it was a big win for me in my market. So maybe it's a 30% tick around the industry on that. When do you find containers in that partnership you have? How do you use that with insurance, Tyler?
It's a job by job basis. It's when there's a quick turnaround on a job, maybe you don't have to. Maybe that doesn't make any sense to spend the money to move it all the way to the warehouse, turn around. It may be a liability situation. We may move right into a garage, right? If it's that we know that, hey, this is not going to take but 3 or 4 weeks to put back together. The people are going out of town. I mean, it really is a case by case basis. Sometimes we'll set a pod or a Go Mini at the end of a driveway, and we evaluate all of the weather patterns. You probably wouldn't do that in the dead of summer, and you're probably not going to do it in the dead of winter, right? But way it is right now, you don't have a lot of liability and content sitting in a unconditioned container for 2 weeks as we put things back together.
And sometimes you have a customer, it's like, I want access to that in my driveway, I'm sure.
Yep, yep. It's a case by case basis and just understanding the customer's need.
Now, also when it comes down to containers as well, too, if the moving company has the option to provide a container for those customers or for those moving companies that are being asked by the restoration company, hey, can you take, these dressers, this TV, this cabinet, a lot of the stuff, we need to hold it so it can get assessed because it might turn into a non-restorable item. We might have to dispose of it, but we want you to hold on to it. What should a moving company know about these particular items when it comes to the storage aspect of it? Because a lot of them go, oh shit, like this was a fire damage. Like I don't want my vault stinking like fire residue. I don't want to have this headache afterwards. Should they have like a designated area for this? What should they tell the restoration company when they get asked those questions? Because it's going to come up. Hey, can you take this off site?
Yeah, I would tell you, the first question you need to ask is have I gotten approval from an adjuster to store this? There's been many a times where the stuff had to get out. We didn't have time to inventory those items, and we certainly don't want to just toss them into a dumpster, right? But then the claims process just takes so long. And so now 2 months down the road, we're doing the full non-salvage list. The customer's standing there, yeah, I want this, I don't want this. They've gone through the whole grieving process of their house burning down, whatever it is. And then the adjuster's like, well, why did you bill me for 3 months of non-salvage storage? It's a non-salvageable item. And so the first question I would say you need to ask is you're talking to your restorator, hey, am I able to charge storage on these items, or am I eating it? Like, this is day one, I need to understand this. Two would be, if you're working with a good restoration contractor, then anytime that you have a lot of odor in your vaults, they should be able to come help service your vaults to keep, they should be able to deodorize that for you pretty easily. I think, Steve, you guys have lined things in the vault, or you've, covered in blankets. Again, we have the Asporta wash system, which is really good, soft contents provider. That's my buddy out of Kelowna. We clean Steve's moving pads. furniture paths. So
All of us know, like, there's not a washing machine doesn't wash too many pads. So
No, you get like 2 pads maybe if you're lucky. I kind of want to now, like, we've gone through these processes. One of the big things that I learned was, if I can, as a moving company, if I can help save money in certain ways, the adjuster, the restoration, like usually the adjuster, the insurance agency, right, is going to be very pleased when I can at least go in and offer additional services to, let's say I'm working with ServiceMaster, and I want to kind of elaborate on this. If I'm going through and we're clearing out a bunch of items and some stuff is possibly being tagged as an NR, and I actually have the capability of getting some of these items cleaned and saving that insurance claim from having to replace, let's say, this cabinet because I got it cleaned, or let's say the clothing, right? There's a bunch of clothing, they want to make it so that, I'm gonna have to get all this new product clothing, I'm gonna have to get all this stuff new, but I can go into a high detailed cleaning company, or like what's it called, like a laundromat, dry cleaning place, and have this stuff taken care of and save that insurance adjuster a lot of money. That also looks favorable on my services as well too, correct? Like, there's certain things, if I can try and help save the money. If I'm giving you an estimate saying, hey, to clear out this room, clear out this drywall, it might take 15 hours. But if my crew can get it done in 6 hours, don't look at trying to gouge it and still bill it for 15 hours, right? Try and help save the money, because it's going to build that synergy and that relationship a lot stronger with you and the restoration company than trying to price gouge half the stuff that you're doing.
yeah, to answer that question, or to piggyback on that, that's the first thing that Steve came into my office and asked. Like, what do you do? Tell me what you do on the job. We went and trained his guys. Like, his guys have been to trainings that our technicians, our managers have been through. We've sat in the trainings together. They've sent them by themselves. And so while he's not running a restoration company, he's educating his crew and his staff that specializes in restoration. He has educated them on being able to step into our business and act as a Service Master by Cornerstone employee, even though they have a different brand on. So when the lady is bawling her eyes out because her wedding dress has soot all over it, and she's like, I'm never going to get this handled. This is going to be the worst thing in my life. I didn't want to lose my dress. And he has a manager standing there and goes, ma'am, we can easily handle that for you. Service Master by Cornerstone has the ability to clean that. We will do everything in our power to make sure they know to clean that, or at least try to clean it and communicate the result with the adjuster to make sure it gets handled appropriately. Now, he can stroke her a $10,000 check for her wedding dress, but that's her wedding dress that she wore 20 years ago, right? So the money is really in that scenario doesn't mean anything. But big league movers people on site have the ability to step in and to provide the whole value proposition. And what we do is, like, we will do everything we can in our power. It may look like it's absolutely tanked. We may be packing out clothing in a sewage job, and they have, $30,000 in Michael Jordans, because I've seen it. And, the insurance company's like, oh my gosh, there's no way they've got $30,000 in Michael Jordans. I'm like, well, I can clean it for about $8,000. And they're like, do it. And we certify it through the Esporta wash system, and it's done.
Stephen Reed's got like signed Hulk Hogan, memorabilia that's worth thousands and thousands. So we would hate to have that stuff get destroyed.
He's probably got signed Ja Morant's too. Like, he's probably wearing them.
No, I'm wearing my New Balance. I'm wearing my dad's shoes today. I had to give up the Ja Morant's when I hit 40. My wife gave me a rule with the kicks. Said I don't look right with them. But yeah, I got one topic. I know we're running out of time. We have so many topics we can keep going on. But for the moving industry listening, I went through something with restoration companies not picking the right partners, not picking the right people that we're working for, not vetting those partners, right? And when I met Tyler and Tyler taught me all these things and all these great things, well, I said, rapid fire, I'm going to go do this for every restoration company around the city. And Tyler even helped. He said, yeah, the more you can do, the more you're going to have guys ready to do this for me. And I learned an extremely valuable lesson that put me on fire, put me with a fire hose for a couple of years. I think I ended up writing off about $300K in bad debt. The restoration companies, anybody, they're kind of like rogue movers. Any contractor can feel like they think they can do this work. And what happens is you get in the customer gets a check by the insurance company at the end that pays all, right? And if the customer's just not happy and that restoration company sucks, transparently, they're not going to give them the money. And guess what? The movers don't get the money for their services because who you partnered with did not do a good job and answer their promises. And so I wanted to get Tyler to give us a little feedback of what questions we should ask. We got a great relationship with a restoration company. What questions should we ask to make sure they're healthy, we're on the same page, and that we get our bills paid and they're a good company to work with?
Yeah, first off, understand what the billing process is. Because Steve would send me his bill, and it would be approved, or it would be in as a PO in that job as a cost. That bill would be sent to the insurance company. In the case of understanding residential versus commercial, it's a little bit different. Residential, it's a little bit longer process. You're billing basically for what you do. It's not a time and materials. It's this is what you did, how many it was, and it has to be justified. There has to be an inventory. There has to be everything about it has to be justified. Those take a little bit longer. Those take, there's a little bit longer leeway there. But understanding, what is the restoration company's billing process? Are you billing the insurance company at the end? Are you going to go ahead and add a few months storage and go ahead and send it off? Again, it goes back to when your team is meeting adjusters and you're on these jobs and you're getting approvals, there comes a camaraderie inside of what you're doing in the moving industry inside restoration. It's just a service that's added. And, you have those conversations. You don't need to go undercut your restoration guys, because at the end of the day, unless you're starting up a restoration company, at the end of the day, you need those restoration guys. They're the ones that know how to do it and fight that claim. But as you have the information with the adjuster, talk to the adjuster. Hey, you like dealing with these guys? How much work do you do with them? Or do they do your program work? How much of this is program work? Are you utilizing TPAs, or are these direct referrals from adjusters? A lot of times direct referrals are going to be real quick pays. Adjuster has a great relationship. He's directly referring the restoration company the work. He gets a bill and he sends it. Some of the red flags will be, well, I don't bill for any of the pack out services until after the job's done. Well, if that's the case, then you better know that you're going to be out there for 6 months. Like you're floating the initial cost for 6 months. There are times that I think we've had over $100,000 worth of labor from big league movers on one job before. And that's that's a huge move, right? That's not a residential job, but that's a commercial job. And so then, the conversation is like, hey, Steve, I don't have the funds because of how strung out we are right now to just go ahead and cut you a check for $100,000. But like, I'll pay you X and I'll pay you this and I'll pay you that. But I'm copying Steve, or I'm copying his manager or their project manager in the communication with the adjuster. So everyone understands when they're getting paid, what portion of the claim is being paid. And so it's just all about full transparency.
But I also think that you're a bit of a unicorn when it comes to that, because a lot of the restoration companies that I've dealt with over the past, and like Steven talked about this, you get the guys that are the smaller restoration companies, you do the project and, 30 days goes by, 45, 60 days, you're coming up to 90 days, you still haven't been paid for the pack out. And you're now hounding them, and they're going, well, we're waiting for this, we're waiting for that, and there's a lack of communication on their end to go, hey, this is the situation, this is where we're at. I've also dealt with the big guys, and that are very well known in the industry, and almost sometimes the same problem, where the return is already happening, and you're still waiting on payment from the first part of the move. So, you really need to make sure that
you need to have an agreement.
Well, and that's just it. And like I said, I was going to say is you really want to make sure the communication is there. It's the fool me once, fine, but now we need to make sure that this is really being hammered out, because a lot of times as the moving company owner, you have sales staff out there, or moving consultants that are building those relationships, right? Like I have a moving consultant that builds those relationships with the restoration companies. They're having the contact, they're having the conversations. You want to make sure that moving consultant understands the procedures so that you do get paid, because when you have a big job, not $100,000 job, but let's say it's a $30,000 job, and you're only, a smaller moving company, that's a huge hit for payroll to hold on to, and you're waiting on that, and you want to make sure that there's a steady cycle coming.
Man, what I also want to make sure that there's a clear understanding of, what I said, that you have to be able to justify it. And if you're going to do work for Service Master by Cornerstone, you have to justify what you did. I can help you and guide you, but I can't make you do it, right? I can explain it to you all day long, but I can't make you do it. And so if you're not going to be able to justify what you're billing me, no hard feelings if I can't get the insurance company to release payment. I mean, you have a due diligence too. And me and Steve have had this conversation, like, Steve, this one job, this didn't happen. It was my fault, or it was a miscommunication, but I still have to have it justified, because if it's not, like, I have nothing to go on, right?
Yeah. Tyler's gotten me to the table with the insurance adjuster several times to explain why my charges are the way they are. Tyler, talk about because in moving, we don't have many partners. In restoration, you have a lot of partners. How should moving companies qualify a new restoration company? Should we call trade references? Is that something that you do?
Yeah, I think from a restoration, in each town, the good ones that you're working with, they're probably pretty heavily involved in something in the community. You're seeing them work in the community. You're seeing them do different things, philanthropic, sponsorships. Those ones are the ones that are being successful in doing it right. And then you start to build a list of, like, there's probably one or two or three in Memphis that you can rattle off right now in your head and say, hey, these are the guys that I see their name everywhere. Then there's every Tom, Dick, and Harry Joe Blow restoration around the corner that says he does contents and moving and all this stuff. If it's Chuck in a truck restoration, you're probably doing a little bit more. Hey, what experience have you had with contents? What's your process? What inventory system do you use? That way you understand. I mean, we've trained Stevens guys on exact contents, on ICAT contents solution. They can step in a T&M situation on a large $8 million commercial job 6 hours away. They can send over a crew of people and help us with inventorying, packing, moving, and we can scale our business that way, use them as subcontractors. So they know our system anywhere from a T&M to exact contents to ICAT, whatever we're doing on the job. If you have somebody looks at me and like, what type of moving system inventory? Like, why we don't do inventory? If somebody looks you in the face and says we don't do inventory on a restoration move, hey man, good luck. Nice to meet you. I hope you the
You're
best.
You're gonna have billing
success.
problems.
And you
Yeah,
need to
they're not
buy.
paying you. Yeah,
You will be in lawsuits. You will have customer complaints. You're going to get the 0-star rating on Google as well as them. So, look, our company has messed up. We have totally messed up a lot of jobs, and it's not necessarily the mess up. It's how you respond. And I have a few customers that I can name right now that they were probably going to kill me, and they hated my guts, and they looked me in the face after it was all said and done, handed me a check and said, "Hey, I didn't appreciate some of the stuff that happened throughout this process, but I'm glad that you handled it the right way." And again, that goes back to our core values and our mission.
We recently hired Ready Rolls to help us with hiring some offshore help, some VAs, and they've done an amazing job. They found the perfect candidate for our company. Not only that, they helped answer the questions that we had about the process. Initially, hiring a VA can be a bit intimidating, but they answered all the questions. It's been an amazing experience. Our VA has been a huge part of our success thus far. We're actually in the process of hiring a few more right now. Definitely see them as being a key part of our growth and reaching our goals in 2025. And the game changer for our company, I'm confident to be a game changer.
Visit ReadyRolls.com. There is now a better way to scale.
Hey, it's Mark with Movified, and I'm here to talk about Canada Home Listings. They are the only direct mailer service built specifically for household good movers in Canada. That's right, my hometown. They help moving companies reach homeowners the moment they list their home with proven mail campaigns that drive results. And for the Movified listeners, they're offering exclusive promotions you won't find anywhere else. So go check them out today. Go online, go do your thing, and go find them. Canada Home Listings, right now. Go. And then keep watching the show. I love it. We got to wrap this up here because this has been just fire, this entire episode.
Yeah, this has been electric.
It's been electric, and I did not get an opportunity to even split because I was so involved in our conversation to even hit with a good dolly dash. So we're not even going to hit to the different clips. I'm going to hit you, Tyler, with the dolly dash moment. So I hope you're ready because we're going to hit this off, and this is how we're going to finish off with this dolly dash segment. And it's brought to you
by Movified Nation.
Don't worry, it's brought to you by Movified Nation, the community where movers and restoration pros link up and swap SOPs. We want to link with everybody, not just restoration companies. We want film industry. We want this. We want that. We want interior designers.
Film industry.
For sure. We want to swap SOPs, and we want to grow. No, it's also Atlanta, too.
Right,
and LA. That's right. That's right. Weird conversation. Movifiednation.com. All right. So if you go to start.movifiednation.com, it takes you about 15 seconds to quickly fill out this form. You fill out that form, you get enables you into getting a couple free SOPs right off the bat. It also gets you involved with our community, the newsletters. We are building this thing out, and it is growing fast. So you know what? We still have a couple meetups on tour. And if you fill us out, at the end of November is our completion tour, and we will be raffling off this Van Winkle bottle. It is a beauty, and please save me a little bit at the end of that bottle.
Tyler's writing it down to sign up now.
If I can be the angel dust that gets siphoned off there, and you can save me a little shot, I would greatly appreciate it.
Mark is not allowed
it's
to
3
win,
SOPs for signing up.
Mark is not allowed to win the bottle, so everybody know.
I cannot. I'm not allowed. Okay, boom. Here comes the dolly dash moment. Number one. You only got like 30 seconds, so keep it quick. How do you protect yourself from claims?
All right. Stick to the process. Understand what you're doing. Train. Communicate. Set clear expectations. Make sure that you understand that your team has to have the same communication with your subcontractors, the people that you're working with, and what conversation you're having with the customer, we have to pass that down too. And I think that by having full transparency, understanding that I get something happens, don't hide it, don't fake it till you make it, just communicate it. I can deal with it with the customer. We can set that transparency out there, let them know what's going on and how we're working through it, and then we make it right and we respond well, we partner, and we get it done.
Love it. Number two, the most overlooked billable line on a pack out.
Oh, furniture blankets.
That's a good one. I'll take it. This is like, Family Feud. It's like, you didn't get the X.
Shrink wrap.
An answer like that. Yeah, shrink wrap. Yeah, I like that. One red flag that makes you walk away from a vendor.
Telling me everything that you know how to do without understanding how we do it.
So true. Probably do that for ourselves too. That's a good red flag. Your best container or vault trick in one sentence. I don't even understand the question, but we're going to go with it.
Storage container or vault trick.
I would say don't stack your boxes too high because it'll damage your boxes, and always use clamps on your vaults.
Yep. Yeah, at Big League, we spray paint where clips should go.
That's why I'm looking at
we
spray painted
do
vaults
too.
right now.
Yeah, we do the same thing too. If a mover could add just one upgrade this quarter to win more restoration work, what is it?
One upgrade. What do you mean?
One thing that they could do to get more restoration work.
I would say make sure that you have the ability to have 2, 3, 4 guys ready to go at any time and say yes to everything you possibly can.
I love it.
Would you say a relationship with BOMA, like joining that group, if in a random market?
Yeah, a BOMA or a like a property management group, an IRM, a real estate group, commercially. Yep. Because those are a lot of multifamily people, and obviously you get the regular there, but you also get the restoration contractors in the room too.
Beautiful. Thank you, Tyler. Listen,
how do we get a hold of Tyler again? I know we went over it last time.
Yeah, how do we do it?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram and connected with you guys, and we can go from there.
What's the tag?
What's your handle?
T Pattat 1227.
Perfect. If you are following us on Instagram, obviously, and you're watching this episode, please, come on, guys. If you're watching this episode and you're learning, you should be following us. Hit that like button on YouTube if you're watching us on YouTube right now. Follow us if you're watching us on Apple or listening to us on Apple, watching us on Spotify. And you know what? Can I just ask everybody a good favor? If you are following us, hit that 5-star review. Just like you want your customers on to get those Google reviews. We love those reviews. It helps with our algorithm. It leads us up. It gets us accessible. I went to pick up my daughter at daycare, and the teacher goes, "Do you have a podcast?" And I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh, I was watching something on YouTube, and you came up." I don't even know what she must have been searching, but she found me on YouTube. So I was thoroughly impressed because. Yeah, heaven forbid she sees me in my Movified t-shirts 90% of the time picking up my kids, but to put 2 and 2 together. But no, she, maybe it's that subliminal message.
Yeah, can I also say something? If you're a restoration provider listening through the entirety of the podcast, I would say you need to have moving vendors ready to go. If you want to scale your business and you want to be able to grow inside the first 100 to 200 miles of your business and take on any work, you need to have somebody that's going to step in and be prepared to scale up, to move an entire school out, or to run 4 or 5 trucks the next day. And if they value you and you treat them well, they'll step in at any moment's notice. And just as well as I do, if you're a restoration owner, you're not planning for the cat event. So when it happens, you need them. So that's my 2 cents for restoration owners. We need to make sure we take care of those moving guys.
So get you a provider that has that opportunity, that can put together that to help your team.
Steven, if you slow down in business, you cannot just go causing trouble and lighting fires and turning the hoses on people's houses just to get the business. All right. Like, oh, Tyler, I didn't know they was in this area. I had no
idea. That's a disclaimer. That's illegal. I had nothing to do with this.
They're like, right. Call Service Master by Cornerstone. They're ready.
Oh yeah, for sure. Do you need big league movers? We can pack you out right away. Truck's parked right around the corner. Hey guys, this has been awesome. I really appreciate your time, Tyler, for coming on.
Yeah, thank you very much, again. Tyler. We really
thanks.
Really,
it's been a huge
guys.
pleasure.
I appreciate you.
If you guys have comments, please share them in any of those types of socials that we have. It just
at least give Tyler
section.
a happy birthday.
I know. Yeah,
38. Please. Just turned 38.
Oh, congratulations. Happy birthday.
That's what I said, young man.
This much closer to 40. This much closer. I know. Well, he's got some mustache for it. Hey, guys and gals, really appreciate you guys tuning in again for Wednesdays. And stay Movified, everybody. Thanks.